Hopton Ghost Hunters has investigated at the Marina Theatre in Lowestoft twice in 2013. We had heard many stories of paranormal activity that has been happening since it was built in the 1800s, and are lucky enough to be the only group that has been given permission to investigate. At the beginning of the night, we set up video and audio to cover the active areas where activity had been reported. Baseline readings were taken, including temperature, humidity and EMF. We also placed some trigger objects in the active areas, such as a laser grid and sound-to-light sensors. Here are the messages and images that the team reported sensing during our investigation. We do not use this as evidence, but in our experience our clients find this information to be very interesting. Our investigations began upstairs in the bar area, where two male spirits were sensed by the team. The first man was called Malcolm and was described as being burly and was quite sexist. Judging by the way he was dressed, he seemed to be from around the 1970s. The second spirit was that of a former barman. He was called Nigel and was described as having wild brown hair and a moustache. It was felt that he had very much enjoyed his time working behind the bar at the theatre. We had been told of claims of footsteps being heard walking around this area. Could this have been caused by one of these two spirits? We moved from the bar to the upper circle, where a man in his 60s was sensed sitting in the back row of the theatre. He had enjoyed watching the shows in life, and enjoyed coming back to watch them now too. It was believed that he had died of a heart attack and wanted to pass on a message to his daughters. He said, "Please tell my children, Michelle and Beatrice, that I am happy and with their mother." There was also a lady called Alice sensed in the area. She was watching a show, and although she portrayed herself to us at an older age, she was still strikingly beautiful. It is currently unknown if the two spirits in this area are connected. Continuing our investigation downstairs, we moved to the lower seating area. Our investigators were shown images of bodies being laid out, possibly during wartime, and it was felt that the building had been widely used during the war. A lot of images of evacuated children were sensed, and often the children were confused and frightened. There was a young girl called Hannah who was carrying a small case and a teddy bear. She wanted her mummy and daddy and was looking around for them. Here is a drawing of what our psychic artist sensed Hannah looked like. There were also images of two young brothers, Gerard and Harold. They were both holding satchels and were looking for their sister from whom they had been separated. One of the paranormal claims of the theatre is hearing the sound of children playing. This could be from evacuees, as being evacuated as a child would have been a major event in their lives and the energy could still be lingering. It was believed that one of the uses for the building during the war was that of a shelter for those affected by the bombings. A lady called Mary and her son Stanley were sensed taking shelter here. It was felt that Mary had slowly died of her injuries, but that Stanley had survived and came back later in life to work at the building. Here is a drawing of Stanley by our psychic artist. There are many paranormal claims in the main theatre area. Most notably are that of chairs moving and doors opening and shutting by themselves. With all the busy activity and possible panic that the building has in its history, this could be one of the causes. As we moved through the corridor towards the stage, one of the team felt the spirit of a Victorian boy run past them. Could this little boy also have something to do with the sound of children playing? We continued onto the stage, where, as you'd expect, there were some interesting characters. One of the team was shown images of an actor playing the front half of a pantomime horse. His name was Bob, and he seemed to have trouble with his breathing and overall health due to being a very heavy smoker. This made him quite slow and sluggish, and he was getting frustrated at the person in the rear half of the horse, trying to rush him and push him forwards. Prior to being a theatre, it was felt that this building had once housed a skating rink. The image of a female skater called Izzy was sensed. Izzy seemed to be skating in a show, but it was felt that she was lucky to still be able to perform at all, as she had previously hurt her ankle quite badly. This is a drawing of Izzy by our psychic artist. The image of another lady was also seen on the stage. She was around 25 years old, wearing a rock and roll dress and was dancing to Rock Around the Clock. While calling out for interaction on the stage, the following EVP was captured. You may need headphones to listen.
You try to make some sort of noise so we know where you are in the room, please.
Here is the EVP again, in case you missed it.
You try to make some sort of noise so we know where you are in the room, please.
We concluded our investigations in the dressing rooms. It was felt that this area had been changed from its original shape and that there had been an entrance to a tunnel here at one point. A member of the team was shown images of a drag artist called Derek, although he preferred to be called by his stage name, Doris. He had a little dog under his arm and was telling us about his partner Mike. Also in this area, a man wearing white makeup was sensed. He was dressed in what looked like a barrister's wig and a ruffle shirt. On both of our investigations, one spirit in particular seemed to keep presenting herself, a lady called Elizabeth. It was sensed that Elizabeth was an actress who seemed to be linked to the owner or manager of the theatre at the time, though it is unclear from what the connection was. Elizabeth showed images of her getting caught stealing jewellery from the changing rooms. Here is a drawing of Elizabeth by our psychic artist. Our first investigation of the theatre proved to be much more active than the second. Movement was heard in a few areas, but we knew no team members or guests were present, and a few members of the team witnessed unexplained light anomalies at the rear of the stage. Interestingly, it had been reported that an apparition has been seen walking across the stage in the same area that the lights were seen. In addition to the movement being heard, several other noises were also heard by all that were present. This includes a loud whistle. The following EVP is of a loud whistle that was heard on the night. You may need headphones to listen.
To meet you and find out some of the stories from your life.
Here is the EVP again, in case you missed it.
To meet you and find out some of the stories from your life.
Although there were a few instances of strange EMF on the second investigation, there was little to no activity during the night. We believe that most of the energy had been spent on our first investigation, and that our revisit had perhaps been a little too soon. Not enough time had been allowed to pass for the energy to fully rebuild. As always, following on from our investigation, we'll be doing our utmost to check the history of the location and the local area. We hope to match some of the names sensed during our investigation. All at Hopton Ghost Hunters would like to thank the Marina Theatre for allowing us to investigate such an interesting and beautiful building.